Erik Jones is with us. He's the driver of the number 20 Hisense USA Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And Erik certainly got off to a great start in the Dash for Cash format last week. He won his heat, he won the main, and he won $100,000. So that's what I call 3 for 3 right there. And he qualifies for the 2016 Chase in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And congratulations, Erik. That certainly was one terrific race that you had, and a lot of positives coming out of that. Talk about your just your mindset for that race. Maybe give us some reflection about the end of that race and how you worked your way up to the win, and then maybe just a little general. I know I'm asking a lot here, but a little general comment about how you thought the Dash for Cash format went as well, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I think going into Bristol, we knew we could have another solid run. We had a good run there at Texas the week before, but knew it would be really tough to win at Bristol in general, just between the two Kyles running that are both really obviously very strong at Bristol. But as the race got going, really, I thought we had a good enough car to do it. Lost him a little bit in the middle part of the race and got behind on some adjustments. But as the race went on, we got down to the last restart. I knew restarting fourth, we had a really good opportunity to run at least second. I thought we could get to. I didn't know if we could go up and get the win. But as the restart played out and I saw the holes just really opened up perfect. Kyle went and ran the middle in 3 and 4. We were able to get to the top and get to the outside and make something happen. So just a pretty awesome day in general to get a win there and get locked into the chase. And, really back to the Dash for Cash format, I enjoyed that. I thought getting ourselves locked in through the heat races to be eligible for the Dash for Cash was pretty cool. I think it gave us Xfinity regulars an incentive to really go out and race as hard as we could in the heat race, and enjoyed that was my first Dash for Cash event, so I thought it was pretty fun, pretty cool incentive.
Questions for Erik Jones? If you have one, raise your hand. We'll start right there with Tim.
Hi, Erik. Tim Perrell with the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Strategy-wise, what did you learn from the Dash for Cash format, and how do you apply it here? And then two, what have you or what will you do with the $100,000?
Well, I think from Bristol learning about the Dash for Cash format, just in general, obviously you need to have a really good heat race and get yourself eligible for it to begin with, and then make sure you're in a good position to win it. But really honestly, we were chasing down the win throughout most of the race and put ourselves in a position to be one of the top finishing Xfinity regulars throughout most of the day, and I felt like we had a good shot at it. But I haven't done anything. I haven't got the $100,000 yet, so maybe once I get it, I'll start trying to find out what I really want to do with it. But haven't done anything with it yet.
Let's go to Zach. Zach has a question.
Zach Albert, NASCAR.com. Erik, did you like the format in terms of how it made for a shorter main event for you guys, and did it create any more urgency or time to go type of mentality having a shorter main event?
Yeah, that was probably my favorite part of the heat race format was the short main, and again here at Richmond we have another really short main and only 140 laps. So I think really all of the drivers liked it. It kind of felt more like honestly for me it felt like a truck race. It was pretty close to a truck race distance, which did create some urgency in general, just having to stay up front. And we only had 2 pit stops, and we'll only have 2 pit stops here at Richmond again, and that's that's a pretty narrow window to make your stuff better if you're not where you want to be, which I think is cool. I think it's a neat thing to do. I think the shorter races is something we as drivers enjoy. I think fans enjoy it as well. And just that dash to the finish, running as hard as you can, is pretty neat. Bristol was a part of that. Tire wear at Bristol isn't that great, so you can run pretty hard for a majority of the race, not have to worry about fall off and really dash like that for the whole race. But I think you'll see a lot of the same here at Richmond with only 140 lap main as well.
Other questions for Erik? Raise your hand if you have one. Erik Jones, questions? Right here, Paul.
Hey, Paul Woody, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Erik, I know that you're young and you don't have a wealth of experience to draw on, but what do you think this type of format does for Xfinity racing?
Well, I think it gives people, just a reason to watch. If you think about something different that a fan sees in a format of the race, I think that's just another reason to tune in and check out and see what they think of it. At least as a fan, that's what I would see from it from the outside. Is that, hey, they're doing something different. Why not tune in, check it out, and see how it plays out? And I think that's definitely a step in the right direction. I think trying something. I mean, there's nothing bad about the heat race format really in general. From Bristol, I enjoyed the fact, like we were talking about there a second ago, the short main, and having that 50 laps to go out, run, come in, and try to make your stuff a little bit better before the race was something that I think that was my favorite part, is just getting to run a little bit and coming back in, making an adjustment, and then going at it for the future.
Let's go to Tim.
Eric, does the fact that if you wreck in the heat races, did that affect your thinking at all on how you qualify?
Yeah, it does. I think it affects more of how you race the heat race. Fortunately, we started on the pole in the heat race and ran up there the whole time, so I never had to really worry about it. But I think if you were back in traffic a little bit racing, there's definitely going to be times where you can't do some of the moves you try to pull in the race because you can't wreck. I mean, you're not trying to wreck for sure, but that's just like any other heat race. I mean, Saturday night, I can think back to 5 or 6 years ago racing at my home track in Michigan Saturday night and running heat races. I mean, you can't tear your stuff up, but you still want to go out and get the best finish you can to be starting as high as you can in the main event. So, I mean, it changes your racing a little bit, but I think it makes qualifying a little bit more important in general as well.
Let's go to Paul.
Paul, what do you get in Richmond Times-Dispatch? Eric, there's a lot of talent in Joe Gibbs Racing at the Sprint Cup level. Obviously, a lot of talent at the Xfinity level. Do you have a timetable for your progress in your career? Do you see racing Xfinity X number of years before you want to move up, and how are you approaching that?
Well, yes and no. I think, as I think back a couple years ago, I had a timetable. I said to myself, I want to be here by this time, I want to be here by this time, and I want to be to Cup by this time. But as I kind of moved forward and got into the Truck Series and got into the Xfinity Series and got with these teams, I realized it's not my choice. I'm just racing for these guys, and it's up to the sponsors, it's up to the team owners, it's up to opportunities and spots being open. So I think there's a plan in place for me at some point, and I'm not sure 100% what it is, but I'm along for the ride right now and truly enjoying my time in the Xfinity Series, and going out and being competitive every week and being in contention to win is a pretty cool opportunity for me in general.
Well, Eric, again, congratulations on your win last week at Bristol, and good luck this weekend here at Richmond.
That's good. Thank you, guys.